Okay. An eerie fog descends over Isla Nublar, a remote tropical island in the Pacific Ocean. The air is heavy with impending doom. Deep within the dense vegetation of this inhospitable island, guards stand in the mist, firearms at ready as a huge crate is lowered to the ground. Without warning, the crate crashes open. A primitive roar resounds through the jungle as a huge claw grabs one of the men. The man shouts for the guards to open fire, but it's too late. The terrible creature has its prey. Dr. Alan Grant is decidedly put out. He's in his element here in the Badlands of Montana, in the middle of a fascinating archaeological dig with his colleague, Dr. Ellie Sattler. Alan and Ellie are noted paleontologists, scientists dedicated to unearthing the secrets of the dinosaurs. And here's their wealthy benefactor, Dr. John Hammond, buzzing around in his helicopter, disturbing everyone. He's come to ask the scientists to visit his park halfway across the world. Not just any park, mind you, an amusement park. If there's one thing Grant despises, it's men with too much money and too little sense. Dr. Hammond makes an offer Grant can't refuse. If Grant and Ellie visit the park and give their approval, Dr. Hammond will fund their research for the next 3 years. At least the rain is cleared up a bit. Alan, Ellie, and Dr. Hammond arrive at the mysterious... Is he a doctor? Whatever. Mr. Hammond, I think, arrive at the mysterious fog-bound island. They are joined by lawyer Donald Gennaro and a mathematician, Ian Malcolm. As they pass through the huge gates of Jurassic Park, Ellie and Alan sense they are entering a primitive world. On their way to the visitors center, Alan spies a huge grey tree trunk. He looks up in astonishment. What he thought was a tree trunk is actually the mammoth leg of a dinosaur, a Brachiosaurus. "How did you do it?" Alan asks. "I'll show you," says Dr. Hammond. Mr. DNA, an animated character on the huge screen, explains all about DNA, the building blocks of life, how scientists have discovered blood from a dinosaur in a mosquito which became trapped in sap millions of years ago. Man, it is getting hot in here. It's bloody the humidity of this island. Okay, where were we? When the sap hardened into amber, it created a prehistoric blood bank. Now through genetic engineering, the scientists have recreated dinosaurs. The next stop is the lab, where the visitors are just in time to witness the birth of a baby dinosaur. When Alan discovers that the newborn animal is a raptor, he is shocked as he knows the deadly reputation of the velociraptor. Dr. Alan Grant is not having a good day, besides being very concerned with what is going on in Jurassic Park. Hammond's grandchildren join the party. Kids are not Alan's favourite people. Alexis, Lex for short, is a 12-year-old no-nonsense girl who's right into computers. Tim, her 9-year-old brother, is ready to cram all the adventure he can into his visit to Jurassic Park. They all pile into the electric cars and the tour of a lifetime begins. Suddenly, Alan sees something move and everyone rushes to investigate. "Cool," Alan and Tim say together. There, lying in front of them, is a huge triceratops. dinosaur is obviously in trouble. Ellie feels sorry for the sick Triceratops and decides to stay and help. It is their first chance to study a dinosaur this closely. Thanks to Dennis Nedry, the greedy and very nerdy computer expert, there's a massive power failure in Jurassic Park. Nedry has a nasty plan to steal dinosaur embryos from the lab and make a quick buck. Quick buck, it's more like a couple of mil. He turns off the power to unlock the doors to the lab. Bad idea. What? All the lights go out in the park and a huge tropical storm begins. Suddenly there is a thundering noise and Tim sees the terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex chewing through the fence. The power is off and it's dinner time. The enraged T-Rex turns on the car, where Lex and Tim are huddled together. The T-Rex pushes the car, taking it in its mighty jaws. Not knowing what to do, Alan jumps out of the other car and tries to distract the gigantic dinosaur. He then runs out to the car and manages to pull Lex out. This book skims over the most entertaining parts of the film. Suddenly, with no warning, the terrifying T-Rex is right there. Alan and Lex watch in horror as it lunges at the car, with Tim trapped inside. The dinosaur tries to get Tim, but can't reach him. The T-Rex throws back its head and roars in anger. Alan and Lex climb down the cliff, and the car hurtles down on top of them, landing in a branch. Meanwhile, the greedy nerd, Dennis Nedry, is escaping from Jurassic Park with the stolen embryos. He nearly makes it too till he bumps into a very annoying Dilophosaur. The odd-looking dinosaur hops and hoots in front of Nedry. Dennis throws a rock at it. Suddenly the Dilophosaur throws back its head and spits a terrible burning slime into Nedry's face. Dennis scrambles to his car, then realizes it's too late, that he is a passenger, the deadly Dilophosaur, and it's goodbye nerd. Alan, Tim and Lex walk through the jungle as night descends. The roar of the T-Rex echoes through the gloom as they take refuge in an enormous tree and fall asleep. The next morning, they have a breakfast companion. The gigantic brachiosaur is munching away on leaves right next to them. Tim reassures Lex that the dinosaur is not a meat eater, and they pat the harmless animal. Suddenly, Alan sees a dinosaur egg and now knows for sure that the dinosaurs are breeding in the wild, and it's not a strict laboratory experiment. It's out of control. Back at the visitor centre, Ellie and Robert, the game warden, make a shocking discovery. There's a hole in the fence of the raptor pen. Raptors are on the loose. Alan, Tim and Lex finally come to the massive fence. They know the power is off, so they begin to climb. What they don't know is Ellie is in the maintenance shed, desperately trying to turn the power back on. The three have just made it, when a warning light flashes. Alan and Lex are able to jump free from the fence in time, but Tim is injured. When Ellie switches the lights on, she comes face to face with a raptor, ready to strike. She screams and races for the staircase as the raptor hunts down its victim. Ellie escapes just in time. Alan carries Tim back to the visitor centre. Alan goes in search of the others while Tim and Lex are left alone in the cafeteria, but not for long. The menacing shadow of a raptor skulks across the wall. Tim and Lex creep into the kitchen and hide behind a row of steel cabinets and watch in horror as the raptor manages to open the door. The raptor enters the kitchen and is followed by another. The raptors begin hunting the children. Lex and Tim dodge and weave around the deadly predators, trying to outwit them. Lex bangs a spoon on the bench, and a raptor lunges, but it's only Lex's reflection, and the raptor falls to the floor stunned. Tim is ready with the freezer door wide open. He runs inside, luring the other raptor in after him. With perfect timing, he runs for the kitchen, banging the heavy freezer door behind him. The children outsmart the raptors. Tim and Lex are reunited with Alan and Ellie. Together they run for the control room. The computer system is down. The doors won't lock. Alan and Ellie push against the door, but a raptor is trying to get in. Lex, being a computer whiz, gets to work on the computer keyboard. She finds the right button just in time. The doors lock. Suddenly, a raptor bursts through the window, but the four adventurers are crawling along the ceiling air duct. With a screaming raptor on their heels, they climb down to the head of the Brachiosaurus skeleton in the rotunda. They begin to scramble down the massive skeleton. The bolts holding the dinosaur begin to come loose. The raptor is poised, ready to spring. The bolts come free and the giant skeleton collapses. Alan, Ellie, Tim, and Lex rush for the doorway. There before them stands the fiercest raptor of all. They are trapped. Suddenly, a dark shadow falls over the lobby. The massive head of the T-Rex swings down, snatching the raptor in its huge jaws. Dr. Hammond and Ian Malcolm arrive with the Jeep. As the four terrified friends run for the exit, they hear a spine-chilling roar behind them. The T-Rex is attacking the last raptor. As the helicopter lifts into the sky over Isla Nublar, Alan, Ellie, Tim and Lex know that not only are they leaving Jurassic Park with all its terrible secrets, they are leaving behind an adventure they will never forget.